you the floor. We can give you some minutes to share with us about the DNS implementation in Cameroon. Over to you, Albert.
Um, good afternoon to everybody, or good morning, depending on the time where you are now. I hope that you are listening, that you are hearing me.
Very clearly. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you. We really appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Yahweh, for giving me the floor to share the experience of Antique in implementing DNSSEC for the top level for the .cm country code top level domain. I don't know if I can share my.
Please, can he share his screen? Can he share his screen? They will give you the permission very soon. You can try. Yeah, please. You should be able to do that.
Okay, let me try. Not. Um, I'm not sure I have the hand to share my documents.
They are checking again, Albert. So he's going to talk about one of the
Okay.
projects.
Anyway, if it is not possible, maybe I can just say my words.
Okay, you can start. Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. .cm is the country code of Cameroon, created in 1995. And until 2029, it was managed by the incumbent operator Camtel in Cameroon. And Antique took over from Camtel the management of .cm in 2009. But the national community did not agree on the total transfer. So that is why it is only in January 2024 that IANA recognized Antique as the manager of .cm. And so my presentation will be focused only on mainly on how we carry out the projects and aware
Excuse me,
of the,
Albert.
yes.
Don't worry about the presentation because of also to take too less of your time again. I can maybe ask directly questions, 2, 3 questions. You mentioned Antique, who is in charge of the management of the country code. When did you start this project? To implement the DNSSEC. So what is DNSSEC briefly? When did you start?
We started, we submitted our candidature for the digital, to the Coalition for Digital Africa. And .cm was selected in April 2024. So I can say that we started the project at that time. And the real first step was the training on site with the consultant designated by the coalition, Mr. Alain Aina. And from there, we established what we can call we made an assessment of the infrastructure to be sure that it was up to date and that it could support the implementation of DNSSEC. So that is what I can say.
Okay.
That
So
the answer to the question you asked.
thank you. So you say you started in April 2024. What you mentioned is that the Coalition for Digital Africa DNSSEC implementation is one of the projects. So we had a call out as ICANN, and then they apply in April. And then, as you mentioned, there was an assessment, a training. And after that, the second question is, when did you complete the implementation? When did you complete the implementation of DNSSEC at .cm level? When did you complete that one?
The publication of the first signed file of .cm zone was made on April the 8th, 2025. So that is more than 1 month today. And the DS, that is the publication of the key on the INA site, was made on the April 23 of 2025. So that is 1 month ago.
Okay, so if I understand, you completed everything within a year. So for someone who is understanding that Antique has implemented DNSSEC, what is the difference between the situation before, where there was no DNSSEC implementation at .cm level? I just add again that .cm is a country code for Cameroon, for the participant. So for people in Cameroon today, or people using your domain names at the second level, do they know that there is a change? What is the situation today when we compare to like last year? Because you completed everything on the 23rd of April. So do you have a feeling that people in Cameroon, they know that there is a change? That is my question. Thank you.
Yes, the user, there is more confidence in the usage of the domain name in .cm now, because with DNSSEC, the different names are assigned in the DNS, so that some abuses based on DNS as we used to experience is no longer possible today.
Thank
So,
you very much. I think what I want to do is, maybe I can, if someone has a question, we have also the country code from Chad and Nigeria. So I think they are interested in your experience. I can let him ask two questions before we will let you go because of time. So we really appreciate, again, you have an interesting experience. So Nigeria first, and then Chad. We have two questions. Okay, we take the question from Nigeria. Your name, please, and then you ask the question. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Abimbola Aderibigbe from .ng. So my question is, what is the level of adoption of .cm now that DNSSEC has been implemented? Can you or have you noticed an increase in the adoption, or it's relatively the same, or there's no difference?
Albert, did you get the question?
I think that it is a bit earlier to appreciate the impact or the effects of the implementation of DNSSEC in terms of statistics. But it is this month compared to last month, for example, concerning the .cm, we notice a slight increase in the adoption of the domain names in .cm.
Thank you very much. I think that we had other questions. We take all the questions for you, two quick questions, and then we'll send you also. We ask other participants to also type their question in the chat room. So we take the two questions, and then you answer, and we continue. But please feel free to type in the chat room So he'll be happy to respond to your question. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. My name is Albert Richard from Universal Communication Safe Success Fund in Tanzania. So I just wanted to know from Wanga, they've implemented the DNSSEC, but apart from all these efforts of having DNSSEC, still we see that our users, public users, still are being directed to false website, etc. I mean, bad things still happen. So what is missing? Is it a problem from the implementation side, from technical side, or it's a problem from the users? Thanks.
Albert, I think you get the question.
It was not very clear. I don't.
Okay, yeah, I think his concern is that despite the implementation of DNSSEC in Tanzania, we still have some security issues. That is, if I want to summarize like this. So before you answer, DNSSEC is solving a part, but not everything. But at least if you have DNSSEC implemented at the top level, people are more confident. So in terms of security, DNSSEC is one aspect, but we also have other factors to consider. So that was the way the question, and then maybe I don't know if you want to add something
Okay.
because he said you have implemented the DNSSEC, so are people fully secured?
Yes, thank you for that clarification. And DNSSEC will not solve all the problem, all the security problem you can imagine. And you should also know that if you implement DNSSEC in the root zone, in the root country zone, it is also very interesting to implement it at the other level. So if you are, for instance, a company with many subdomain names, it is very important to implement DNSSEC at your level to ensure that all the tree is secure, because you know that DNSSEC is is an hierarchical organization.
Yes.
Yes.
Implementation.
So if you secure .cm, and if there is a company, for example, company x.cm, if that company also run a DNS for its own, there is a need to implement DNSSEC also in that for that particular level of domain. So that is why I am saying that implementing for the root country zone will not solve all the problem. It is something that should be carried out in all the three. Thank you very much. I don't know if
Thank you. A last question before you leave. Another question.
Hello, everyone. I am Tombo Ibrahim from Chad. We are managing also the CCTLD of Chad. My question for Albert, first of all, I want to congratulate Albert for the implementation of DNSSEC. And my question is that the technical part is being done by the local technical, or by the ICANN technical team, because we have problem in Chad with the technical skills, and we started with ICANN to train our engineers in DNS, and the next training will be in DNSSEC before starting the implementation of DNSSEC. So I wanted to know if all the work was done by the Cameroonese team, technical team, or the ICANN team, technical team, have helped them in implementing the DNSSEC. Thank you.
Albert, allow me to respond. So they have done everything. ICANN did provide training, but implementation has been done by Antic. So I can provide training, but the changes, everything, the implementation is Antic, the implementer. So we did an assessment, we provided training. Before we close that part, I just want to mention that it's not just the Cameroon, we have the same situation with Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, ICANN provided training, but they did everything. But ICANN was with them. We had in this project, we had consultants who were with them, but they were the really one doing the work. I remember the day we were publishing also the key. Like we had some small thing, but they solved it themselves the same day. So I can tell you that through this project, what is happening is that we are giving the capacity, and I'm sure that Antique today, like Burkina Faso, there are countries that other CCCLD can connect to. You can connect to them and they can share their experience. Maybe in this project, we may have a session, another session where they can share more about this experience they have, especially in Cameroon and then in Burkina Faso. And they have done a very, very good job. A round of applause to Albert, because he was up since the morning waiting for us. So, Albert, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. And last
Thank
word
you.
before.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to take part in this panel, and I will always be available for any other events so that we can really share the experience of Cameroon in the implementation of this DNSSEC. Our team is ready, and this is to add to what you have already said to the participants from Chad. The work was done by the Antique team with the coaching. That's how I can call it, the coaching of the consultants chosen by the coalition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. We apologies for the time. We could have been talking more about this. So before we move to the next round of new DGLG, there is another program, part of the Coalition for Digital Africa. Please, we have a booth here during the IDF. We really invite you to visit the booth where you can get more information about the Coalition for Digital Africa. So before we move to the next topic, there's another project, a second project in the Coalition for Digital Africa, which is the universal acceptance of domain names. So in this project, the partner in the implementation is the Association of African Universities. Also, because of time, we are not in position to have the full presentation for them. So I'll be asking Frank to briefly talk about this project. Frank, what do we want to achieve, or what are you achieving in this universal acceptance project with the Association of African Universities? So Frank Asefwa is from the Association of African Universities, an organization with more than 400 universities. So Frank, can you tell us briefly what you want to achieve in this project when we talk about universal acceptance within academia? Over to you, Frank.
All right. So thank you very much, Yavi, for that introduction. So as Yavi mentioned, Frank, and I'm with the Association of African Universities. Our main goal with universal acceptance is to help higher education institutions in order to be able to create UA readiness in their institutions. We felt like getting in touch with the universities and helping them to understand UA, and then teaching the students, especially adding it to their curriculum, especially the students who are in computer science, because they are likely to work in such fields, would be very beneficial, and the exponential growth of UA readiness on the continent would be very high. So that is what we really wanted to achieve with this project, helping universities to currently make their universities, their emails and then their websites UA ready, and then also making sure that the next generation of technical people on the continent also understand UA readiness and then adhere to the principles that are outlined in there.
You used to talk about UA, it is universal acceptance. So we'll be hearing about this a bit in the next presentation. Why this project? Because he mentioned universal acceptance. my colleague Bo will be talking about the next round of the new generated top-level domain name. When you see your email addresses, you'll see the last label, like if it's ending by .tz or .cm or all, that is the top-level domain name. So today you have a lot. We have a lot today. We have some of that longer and some of them which are not just in ASCII characters. So when he mentioned universal acceptance, it's because that today there are some technical implementation to do or upgrade to do. He mentioned website and he mentioned email system. So what is they are doing is to work with universities so that the email systems and the website of the universities are ready. So my second question, you started, I think, in 2023, this project. If we take your members, can you give us an idea if it is 1/3 they have, or can you have an idea if you have seen some progresses in the needed correction to be done? Just an idea about the impact of this project. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Sorry if it's a bit loud. It's raining in Accra. But when we started, we did a baseline to check the universities that are website compliant and then are email compliant. So with regards to the websites, we had about 54 universities as at October 2023 that were that their websites were compliant with UA, Universal Acceptance. And as at May in 2025, we have 137 universities that has their websites being compliant. So that shows more than 100% increase in the compliance for websites going forward. For emails, we had about 282 that were compliant when we did the initial baseline, but currently we've been able to help about 302 universities in order to be able to be compliant. So there's been some significant growth, especially with the websites, because there were a lot of them that were non-compliant, and we've seen the marked improvement in they being compliant. That is also because we've had technical experts who are already ready, who are always ready to be able to support and then help these universities to go through the process to make their websites compliant.
So thank you. So AU has a lot of universities. I have another question for you before we take question from the floor. There is another track in this project. You talk about curricula within academia. In one minute, what can we understand when you say that there is another track about curricula before we take some question from the floor? Thank you.
Okay. So we had a pilot with Kabale University, and the whole goal is that the curricula that they have for the computer science students, we should incorporate UA, Universal Acceptance, into the program so that the students who are being taught computer science would also be able to learn some elements of Universal Acceptance, so that whenever they are actually implementing this for their websites or for their emails, they are able to do so. That ensures that every student that comes out of that institution is UA ready, as it were. So whenever they are building websites or they are working in a company where they need to work with emails, they have that in their minds and they are able to let it work. And then we know the power of networks. Word of mouth goes a lot far. So if one person is taught, we believe that it exponentially increases the amount of people who are able to hear about universal acceptance, and then it increases the rate at which the continent is ready. We are looking forward to more universities who would be willing to work with us so that their curriculum can also be improved by adding UA to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can take some questions from the room. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that information. My name is Abimbola Adirigbe, and I'm from .ng. Now, my question is, the Universal Acceptance Project, is it just for Ghana or is it going to go across Africa? Are you going to get to Nigeria? And then the universities you're looking at, are they private universities, federal government universities, state government universities? What kind of universities are you targeting? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abimbola, for those questions. No, it is not exclusively for Ghana. It is for the entire continent. We have reached out to a lot of universities. We've had 3 trainings actually. We've had one in Ghana, one in Namibia, and one in Morocco. In all of this, we had 8 countries present during the Namibia workshop. We had 14 countries present during the Rabat, Morocco workshop. So it's definitely not only Ghana. We have reached out to a lot of universities to gauge their interest in getting this training, and many of them reach out, and then we are able to organize workshops in order to walk them through. So that is the situation. That is what we are doing. We work across all universities. So whether it's private universities or public universities, we work across the continent. As we mentioned already, we have more than 400 member universities across the continent, and a lot of them are from Nigeria as well. So we train the computer science lecturers, we train the IT team as well in the universities. So that is what we are trying to do as well. Thank you, Abimbola, for your question.
Okay. Yeah, so that answered my question because I wanted to ask specifically for Nigeria. Permit me to be, because yes, I'm from Nigeria. So I wanted to know the universities in Nigeria, when are you coming to start the implementation in Nigeria? Is there a particular time? Do you have like a deadline and all of that? I just wanted to know.
Okay, let me take this quickly. As he said, we have members of the association from Nigeria. So we have 2 parts. The website, if for university in Nigeria using WordPress, for example, they already have with icon, we have the correction needed. So they are currently working for every university. Like if you want to correct the problems on the website or the email system. Now, where we have like a pilot phase is the implementation of the curricula, because to have some new courses, some modules in the curricula universities, it requires some specific process depending on the university. So this one we have a pilot one. So we have Kabale University in Uganda and Dodoma in Tanzania. Dodoma is in Tanzania. Yes, so these are the 2 universities, and then one university in Senegal. These are the pilot. But ICANN is ready if one university
Hi, I think I'm Nira, the NG. I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but I would like to know if they do partnership TLDs in countries, will they use the .ng domain name for this kind of opportunities? Maybe it would open more awareness for the sort of.
can take this also quickly. It is about universities. Generally, what ICANN is doing today also, we have what we call Universal Acceptance Day, UA Day. So we have it every year. So please be watching if you are interested. If you have Universal Acceptance Days in some countries, CCTL did a country code. So especially when we talk about universal acceptance, all the country codes, management organization or managing organization, they are welcome, because today we are expecting them to implement universal acceptance at the second level. Acceptance program, you can see it. We have also people in the country countries, we call them ambassador. So Amina is one of them, so working with people in countries, but get in touch with us so that if in Nigeria, for example, you have some characters different from ASCII characters, and people want to register names, you characters, and also there is a way to implement at the second level to pay you. It is really to make practical implementation. It is what they are doing. We are seeing changes in some universities, and then they want people to have these courses so that for the future people are ready. So I can give you the floor to give your final word, Frank. Then we will move to the next topic. We really appreciate also your patience, your time. So over to you for what we should take away from.
Yes, so what I would want each and every person to take away from this is universal acceptance is important for all of us, especially with our continent and how there are so many characters that we need to use. So each of you can be an ambassador for your country to be able to help, to be able to propagate this message. As Yavi mentioned, the UA Day is celebrated each year, and this also helps to raise more awareness on universal acceptance on the continent. AU is doing its best with the university's access members to try and make sure that it's a cascading effect of the training that we are doing.
Oh, thank you, Frank. We have some connection issues.
Okay, all right. Then that will be all. I would also want to thank my colleague Abdul Manaf Sulemana, who is here with me. Thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the meeting.
So we have some technical problem getting you, Frank. We want to thank you very much for your time. So a round of applause to Frank from the Association of African Universities. So we have the booth here, so people will learn more about what AAU, Association of African University, is doing in this specific project. So again, thank you very much for your time. So for people online, I don't know if there are questions, so we'll move to the second part of we are having. We are at the internet, as you know, the role, my colleague Bob will be talking more about domain name. So, and then the next round. So next round, Bob, we give you the floor so that you really let us know what we should do or what is happening or what you are expecting when you mention next round. So we want to give you the floor, Bob. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yovi. Well, I think these are very many topics in a very short time. Now, I don't know how much time we have. And I know that most of us, or maybe all of us, are not, maximum. So this topic take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 1 day. It depends on what you want. But I'll try in less, in maybe 10 minutes, because I believe we have talked to most of you about this, or probably you have heard about this already. So this is just building up on, the old domain name discussion that has already taken place here. We have taken this same message to many of our countries. I think we've been hosted by Nigeria. Amina has been our host almost less than a month ago, I guess, maybe 2 months. So very recently, we were with TCRA just 2 days ago to discuss the same. Probably we haven't just been in Chad. Maybe that will be our next destination if Yavi agrees to come. So this has been a very personalized discussion and message because it is very important. I also realize that we have CCTLD managers in the room, and the question I am always asked is, why are we why should this be relevant for CCTLD operators? I think for the very few that might not understand what CCTLDs are, so we have two broad categories of names under ICANN. We have country names and we have generic names. So anything that is 2 letters is a country name. So TZ, for Tanzania, NG for Nigeria, as they say. So every country has got a unique name that potentially might identify directly or not very directly. For example, ZA for South Africa. And then we have generic names, which we also know, com, net, info, edu, that long list. So this is, and if you look at that slide, you should notice a problem with it. If you don't, then probably you have left us already. You are not in the room. Anyone notices the problem? The date, isn't it? Not very many people notice, but yes. So the date is not current, but the content is current. So very quickly, ICANN is in the process of implementing something we are calling a new GTLD program again. So we are calling it a next round because there's a current round that has been running since 2012. So we were at a loss of how we call the next one while a current one is still running. Maybe you could help us with that as well. So our next round is coming. And in the interest of time, I would just point out what is relevant for especially those of you that potentially are running CCTLDs, or why it is still relevant for you even as a CCTLD operator. Africa is very rich in names or in potential digital assets. We have a lot of natural resources in Africa. I think we are the richest in terms of natural resources in the world. But if you flip that in terms of the potential digital resources that we do have in line with this theme, that could actually even be richer. If you look at your countries, you can point very many things that would mean something in the digital world. So closer here, we've been talking, Zanzibar is known as a tourist destination almost globally, isn't it? Safari is synonymous with tourism, isn't it? Now, would you imagine if actually those names, as an example, and I should mention that in Kenya, most of the local films that we watch are from Nigeria. So how do you call it? Afro cinema, isn't it? It's synonymous with Nigeria, okay? The rest of us are catching up. So there are things that are unique to Africa that could actually be digitized or that could assume their own digital IDs very prominently. And we haven't looked at them in that way. So this will be an opportunity for Africa digital assets to also feature or to find their footprints online in a very unique way. And how can CCTLDs be part of that? Or why is that relevant for CCTLD people? I always say, and I think I am largely right, that CCTLD or you wouldn't register a new name of that kind, say .safari, for you to sell it in the mass market. Or put differently, someone registering a name like .safari is not actually doing that so that people can register under .safari. So today you when you try to project the success of a CCTLD, we talk about how many names are registered under that name, isn't it? So you ask, .ng, how many names do you have as NERA? Maybe 150, 230. So that's what fraction of your population. See, globally today we have around 360 million registrations across all top level names. So, okay, my slide has gone away. But if you look at all domain names available today, there are around 1,500. 1,300 of them are generic, and around 200 of them are country codes. If you total up everything that they have registered, Nigeria included, Kenya included, USA included, .com included, that number comes to around 360 million total registrations. Africa alone is more than 360 million people, isn't it? So there is a huge opportunity in terms of numbers. Now, closer home, say you go to Nigeria, they say they have 230,000 registrations. So .ng or NERA is in the business of offering name registrations under .ng. So you can buy a .ng name. And that's the business model, that they are offering .ng for the mass market. Okay, that's a business model. How about .bmw or .apple or .google? Do you think is available for everyone else to use? No. But there are existing names. So .bmw is live, .google is live. They have a different business model. So whenever CCTLD managers ask me, is this really relevant for us? And I say it is very relevant. We have established CCTLD operators that are registry backend providers for a lot of GTLDs, isn't it? So AFNIC, for example, as a .fr CCTLD operator, offers the same service for a lot of GTLDs. So I believe that in the case of Africa, the biggest opportunity we have that CCTLD operators could exploit is to offer their technical backend services for African names that would emerge out of this. In other words, if you ask me, it would be a bit of a loss if I have, say, .safari that is being operated by affiliates. No, now it's called Identity Digital. Or is being operated by AFNIC, as an example, and not the CCTLD operator for Tanzania or for an African country. Because as CCTLD operators, you have the technical experience already. And you can actually handhold and support a potential idea that can easily be a very successful business model as a top-level name. So not all potential names are actually competition to CCTLD operators. You can actually be the back-end driver for such names that contribute to their success. And some of these names will pretty much be very successful. So we will see interesting registrations when we open this for applications in 2026, which is like 12 months from today. And I do hope that as CCTLD operators, when names come from Africa, that they'll be accompanied by respective backend service providers from Africa as well. That is the opportunity that you have. So this is as relevant for you, and it would be important to follow this process and also participate in it and provide your respective services. Maybe I'll just highlight the key dates for the program. So for the last almost 1 year, from November 19th last year, running all the way to November 19th this year, we've been running as part of this a subsidy program that we're calling Applicant Support Program for those that would want to apply for these names in 2026. So that opportunity is still alive, and I think I have discussed this in detail in our workshops that we have run in your respective countries. So the ASP program, or the Applicant Support Program, remains open. It's the blue line up to 19th November. If you'd want a discounted rate from the existing fees that will be charged, then that is the program to utilize for that. The application period itself will open in April next year. That's around 12 months, 11 months from now. And we'll be inviting applications from around the world for any name of any kind. Remember, from the universal acceptance discussion, names can now be longer, names can be in other languages. So there is no limit into the kind of names that you can apply for. So I won't be surprised if I see, very interesting African names, but also African geographies, and they might not come from Africa. So that's one part to take note of the dates, especially when the program opens in April next year. That's when we'll start receiving applications. The other thing to keep in mind is to be vigilant, and I keep saying this because we will have registrations or applications that are probably perceived not to be from the people that have applied for them. Last time we were in Nigeria, we realized that Lagos, for example, does not only exist in Nigeria. Okay. So, of course, there are a lot of rules that determine or will guide what you can apply for and what you can't apply for. But at the same time, a lot of things are open-ended. So names of countries are protected. No one can apply for name of a country. So you don't expect a .Nigeria application from China, for example. You also don't expect a .Abuja because that's a capital city, so that's protected, unless the government of Nigeria or authorities in Nigeria apply for it themselves. But Lagos is open. Anyone can apply for it. Or Zanzibar, for example. And I was giving this example 2 days ago. Why? Because Zanzibar is not within the UN an autonomous jurisdiction in itself. So it is available for application. And you could ask, but well, if an application like that comes from Kenya, can Zanzibar object? If the Kenyan one claims that Zanzibar, the Zanzibar they're applying for is a unique delicacy and not a geographical area, that's possible, isn't it? Or China could say, well, the Zanzibar we have applied for is a kind of medicine that is very famous in China. Yes, same spelling. And so because, why? So that's very hard to confirm. Just the same way, there's a Lagos in Portugal, I guess. Is it Portugal or Portugal? So which one is the original one? So if there was a .Lagos from Portugal, give or take, they have, we had a case, for example, Amazon, which is a river and a region, but also a company. So who would take such a name, isn't it? So Zanzibar, unfortunately, as an example, is open. Anyone can apply for it and give their own reasons why they're applying for. So you wouldn't say that we are saying no because Zanzibar is a geographical area in Tanzania. So the way to protect that is potentially to apply for you as Zanzibar yourselves. But I'm saying that it is possible to get a successful application from elsewhere under a different justification. And I can side, we will look at documents, and if there is no objection, then it shall proceed. So in other words, the second reason why you should be following this process is to also see what shall have been applied for. After the application is open, we will publish all the names that have been applied for. And you will be able to see whatever it is, 15 weeks later, and you have an opportunity to object. So we'll give you 45 to 90 days to object for whatever reason on any of those names that have been applied for. So the name, the applicant, and wherever they come from shall be published. So even if you are not planning to apply, you still need to be aware that this is happening. Otherwise, once that period is done, we don't have a process of taking down a name that has been delegated. So today, we don't have a process of taking down .ng. If it was to be denied, it was to be denied before it went live. After it goes live, unless Nigeria ceases to exist, we cannot take down .ng. Or if NIRA collapses and can no longer keep it alive. So there is no process that exists to object to a name that is already delegated. You can only do it during the objection period. So it is important to follow this process as well up to the time that all the names are published. So I guess in the time that we have, probably this is what I would want to share, but happy to take questions because I believe some of you have been following this process. Meanwhile, I invite you to really follow very detailed resources that we do have. We have a dedicated website for the next round. It has a lot of information, a lot of content. And whenever you have questions, we are available to, we are at your disposal. We have a booth here, as Yavi already indicated. Please reach out to us. Most of the time, the questions you have are already answered on the website. But in case you need clarity or details, we are really at your disposal. And so with that, unless we have questions, specific questions.
Thank you, Bob. Before we take questions, so as we mentioned, we are changing a bit the initial agenda. So we will not be in position to have a lot of questions, but we'll take maybe 2 questions from the room. But before that, I have a question. I don't know if you mentioned about, is it free, the next round? Or are we going to pay that? Is there an amount? So that is one of the questions. Thank you.
Okay. So Yavi likes making my life difficult.
Okay, thanks, Bob. So maybe my question is, what is ICANN doing to protect now those names? Because regardless that we should be having an open eye when you publish the names to object. But is there anything maybe apart from like what you are saying today to protect, to ensure that those names, like, I mean, to be sad to see like the word of Zanzibar being applied by someone from China?
going on that discounts it. This program we are calling the Applicant Support Program. This program will discount that cost to at least 85%. So that 227, if you are successfully evaluated under applicant support program, you will get an 85% discount to it. So you really have an opportunity now, and now is this timeline in blue to apply for applicant support. If 227 is very expensive for you, you can apply for this support, which will discount the fee by 85%, so that you are eligible next year to apply for the name and not pay 227. I don't know if that makes sense, or I have confused everyone. Yes, this is about GTLDs.
CCTLDs, do they have to? No.
So this is only for new names that do not exist today. So this will be another process to get new names into the domain name space. So something that doesn't exist today, like .safari. So there's no applicants yet. The application will open up in 2026. Any corporate body. So it could be a government, it could be a company, private. You can't apply as an individual, but any corporate entity of any size. A CCTL is a corporate body, so you can apply. Yeah. Yes.
I'm not aware that this name is important and need to be protected. Do you have any initiative maybe to help member countries to do so?
So this is why we had a long discussion with the TCRA, because they are the operators for .tz. That is in the case of Tanzania. We've been in Nigeria. We are really talking to as many countries as possible to do two things: to make them aware that this is coming, and some sensitive names could be applied for in 2026 as a result of this process, the way it happened in the last round, which was in 2012, so that they should be aware. Number two, they might also be wanting to apply for certain names that they like, and there was no opportunity. Until you can only apply for a new name, or today within ICANN, you can only introduce new domain names through a process like this. So if it doesn't exist today, this will be the only time where you can apply for names that probably people wanted. So this is the only opportunity. The last time this happened was in 2012. This will be the next time that you can apply for new names that don't exist today. But if you don't apply, you should be aware of, or you should be, as a country, I should say, clear about sensitive names that you'd want to protect. You're already doing this under CCTLDs. I'm sure under CCTLDs, the names you control who registers them. For example, statehouse.tz might not be owned by yourself, for example. So the manager for .tz or .ng controls what names can be registered by who. It is the same case here. It's only that we'll wait for you to come and say no. That name that has been applied for by so and so should not proceed, because at ICANN level, we don't know what is important for Tanzania or Nigeria or Chad unless they come and say this name means something else in our case, and therefore we are objecting to whoever's applied for it, or they apply for it themselves. So that will be possible in 2026, which is less than a year from today. I think in summary, last time in 2012, participation from Africa was very low in this process. This time around, there's been a lot of awareness around the next round and a lot of time. And I can assure you that with that increased awareness and the different IDs or potential IDs when you look across Africa, we will see very interesting applications by other entities that are not from Africa. So you ask again how affordable it is. It is as affordable as the opportunity cost. If this is expensive, how about if someone else has got that name? What would it cost Tanzania if Zanzibar is owned by an individual or a private entity? That is actually the cost we are talking about. What will it cost? The same for Nigeria, for your music industry, your art sector. There are names therein that they would actually be interested in keeping for themselves, but they are open to anyone. So this will be an opportunity for them to secure them. So as to the cost of this, you have to compare it vis-a-vis the cost of not doing it. And then you can actually look at which one is cheaper or more expensive. I'm sure our time is finished.
Thank you very much, Bob. A round of applause to Bob for the presentation. We had online Yazid Akanho, who is part of the ICANN team, so I didn't mention him. Is Yazid Akanho. We have a team, we call it an engagement team, so he's part of the technical engagement team. So we are here, and then we have a booth. So please, if you have some questions we're not able to answer, send an email to GSE Africa, GSE Africa in one word at ICANN.org. GSE Africa at ICANN.org. So on behalf of Pierre, again, we want to thank everyone, those online and in the room. And we want to thank also the organizers who have given us the opportunity to interact. It has been a pleasure. We still have our booths here at AfIGF. As an announcement mentioned, we have the next ICANN meeting in Prague. So we have 3 public meeting every year at ICANN. So if you want, you can just travel to Prague to attend the meeting. You just go to the ICANN website, you register, you apply for your visa, you attend, or in case it's too late to travel, we have also the opportunity for everyone to participate remotely, as we are doing today. It's a hybrid event, so you can also participate remotely. You have more information on the ICANN website. And during the Africa Space, we have a session called Africa Space. During the ICANN meeting, we have a session on the 11th of June. We call it the Africa Space. So we'll have the opportunity to also talk about some item related to the ICANN in Africa. So again, we want to thank you very much for your time. And again, our apologies to people online who have to wait for many hours before we gave them the opportunity. Have a good evening, and we see you probably later in the day or tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye. We want to thank the technical team again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.